I know that you know all the things that are being said around RFK Jr., but just on the top line of it all, the idea that RFK Jr. would be put in touch or in charge of health and science in this country, what do you say to that?
It's dangerous. And if you look at his track record, first, he's not a medical expert. He's not a public health official. And, he has decades and decades of, spewing rhetoric that is against science. It's against the established scientific evidence that we have. And so to have someone that is sharing these types of thoughts and ideas, influencing policy, influencing oversight, is quite dangerous for public health and for all Americans.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking in the break about, there are a lot of Americans who are concerned about health and safety, whether regulations are really keeping up with the information, whether or not their food is safe, their water is safe. That is being co-opted by people who want to make a conspiracy out of everything. And what do you think about how that should be addressed? I mean, even after all of this?
Well, look, I think progressives make a mistake when we just roll our eyes and just kind of throw everybody in the same, crazy bucket when people ask tough questions. I think you have low trust voters and you have high trust voters. And the low trust voters are also on the progressive side. You have voters who say, listen, all these experts have been telling me stuff that turned out not to be true. They gave me a housing bubble that wiped out all of my assets. They had my kid go fight in a war that was dumb. I don't believe everything that we were told during COVID served my child well in his or her school. So you do have people who have said, look, experts have let us down. And so I think that the mistake we make is then here comes RFK Jr. on the nutty train. And all we do is throw rocks at him, as opposed to saying, you know what? If there's evidence, there's been some corporate capture of some of these agencies. As Democrats, we should go after that. We should actually grab this mantle. We want to make sure that kids are safety. We don't necessarily, brush moms aside if they, I don't know, I'm concerned. I think progressives are making a big mistake. We have left these parental concerns for the right wing to exploit. And I think that we should take them seriously, but not give in to the crazies.
I do think that you're right about that. But Dr. Madad, tell us about the fluoride of it all, because I do think there are some rocks to be thrown, frankly, at RFK Jr. about this stuff, because some of it actually is just straight up dangerous on the vaccines. But what about the fluoride?
Yeah.
Well, first, fluoride is a natural occurring mineral. It's not a man-made mineral. And when we talk about adding it to the water supply, it has proven benefits. We have over 75 years of data that has scientifically proven that it has helped, with oral hygiene, dental hygiene. And so it helps prevent decaying cavities. It helps provide just better oral hygiene. It helps with antibacterial properties and the like. And so what it's doing is it's helping both with pain, it's helping with disease, and it's helping with cost. And so these are all really amazing benefits.
So what is
and
the
it's
concern?
across the board.
I've got friends who used to be, frankly, more progressive. Post-COVID, they've become much more conservative about issues just like this. It's almost become a gateway drug to the right to be concerned about some of these health issues. So what are people's concerns about fluoride, and how do you respond? How do you knock those concerns down? Because they're saying all kinds of stuff about fluoride.
So with the current levels that we have in the water supply, and over 70% of the water supply is fluoridated across the United States, it is safe, it's not toxic. When you look at adding in additional amounts of fluoride, even then, the studies have not proven any significant, health adverse effects. So at the current levels, there's across the board, you're seeing meta-analysis, epidemiological analysis, observations that have not shown any correlation with any physical or, mental or even oral, effects, poor effects. And when you look at even higher increases, you're just seeing some minor cosmetic issues.
Yeah, so, I want to just play one thing. This is from the Trump transition official talking about what RFK wants to do if he gets into the government. Listen.
Oh, Lord.
He said, I want data. I just want data, because they block the data.
But the data's out there.
Wait, it's not.
They don't block it. You can look at it. It's online.
He wants the data so he can say, these things are unsafe. He says, if you give me the data, all I want is the data, and I'll take on the data and show that it's not safe. And then if you pull the product liability, the companies will yank these vaccines right off of the market.
Almost every day now, Trump is doubling down that RFK will have a role in his government. This guy is saying RFK has a conclusion he's already come to, and he wants to go rummaging through the government's data to find justification for it. That's wild.
And dangerous.
Yeah, I think that, first of all, he's going to have a role, but whether that is a role alongside a whole bunch of other people.
Are you comfortable with that?
Well, look, I've never been the biggest RFK guy because I'm still smarting over the fact that he accused us in the Bush campaign in 2004 of stealing the election in Iowa, or Ohio, rather. So, you know, I mean, I remember when he was a left-wing conspiracy theorist, not a right-wing conspiracy theorist. But I do think this, in any campaign and in any transition, you're going to end up with a bunch of voices who have opinions. What I find sort of politically interesting about all this is that we haven't won the election yet. He's not won anything. And I just sort of think it's not great politics to go out and announce all the offices that you're going to hold or all the policies that you're going to force Donald Trump to make, because let me just remind everyone, if Donald Trump wins, he's the boss and he's the president, and I suspect he or any other person that wins the presidential election doesn't want to be ordered about on national television.
In this case, though, it's a public service because people have a right to know if that's actually what's going to happen.
Look, I know Bobby. Bobby he actually wrote the foreword for my first book. I love Bobby. He should be nowhere near America's government. He should be nowhere near America's government. And even to have someone like him in the room muddying the waters, somebody who has an agenda, to your point, has already come to a conclusion, is very, very dangerous. If you are a mom or you are a dad tonight and you're trying to figure out who should I vote for, do not vote for somebody who's even pretending he's going to put this person in charge of everybody's health care. It would be incredibly reckless to even have him in the room.